made up the name TARDIS from the initials, time and relative dimension in space.
That's because the TARDIS is dimensionally transcendental.
You're doing it, you sexy thing!
You do call me that! Is it my name?
You bet it's your name!
Woo!
That's trans-dimensional engineering, a key Time Lord discovery.
The assembled odds of Genghis Khan can get through that door. Believe me, they've tried.
We are in space! Woo! It's like a box with that room just crammed in.
Let me get this straight. A thing that looks like a police box standing in a junkyard, it can move anywhere in time and space?
Well, here we are finally with my review of Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, and I'd like to start by thanking Charlie Spotted from Twitter for his help in sourcing that clip from the Doctor's wife. I think I need a little bit more time before I revisit Series 6. So, of course, this is an episode about the TARDIS, which immediately harks back to Invasion of Time, which was the last time we got to see it really this extensively. Obviously we had the Doctor's wife as well. And then tonally it felt a bit like Edge of Destruction, with the TARDIS doing some quite scary stuff to the people inside. And also we've had the idea of time leaking from the future with the TARDIS before in Day of the Daleks, obviously not quite so horrifically as happened in this story.
Yes, of course, I remember now. Look, don't worry, my dear. I know you're alarmed, but you needn't be. Yes, well, I think that should do it. Why on earth I never realised that... Oh no, what are you doing here?
And it was good to finally see the Doctor's swimming pool again, for the first time since the Invasion of Time, though we've had it mentioned in between. And did anybody else spot the Doctor's Paradise Towers umbrella?
Well, here we are.
As for the monsters themselves, they reminded me of what would happen if you crossed the Xerathin from Time Flight with the Krags from the animated version of Shada.
Those who were first reborn were destroyed.
What is your command, Master?
Then of course we have the Guy Crayford moment. Yes, I'm referring to the bit where it turns out that Tricky has been convinced he's an android, in rather the same way that Crayford was convinced he had a missing eye. Quite how they convinced him that he needed to eat and use the loo as an android, I don't know.
Take off the eye patch and look for yourself.
Finally, for classic series references, did anybody else get a whiff of the Crotons when they came out of that door into the quarry? Maybe just me.
Doctor, down here!
And now we come to what I guess is a contentious part of the episode, the whole reset button. Did the Doctor, having worked out what was going on, feel free to have that conversation with Clara about who she really was, knowing that she'd forget about it afterwards? I have to say, some of the Doctor's ruthlessness in this episode reminded me of Hartnell, and in fact, this was one of Smith's, from my point of view, one of Smith's best performances of the Doctor. As you well know, I'm not really a fan of him as the Doctor, he just doesn't work for me. But in this episode, he really sold it somehow. I'm not quite sure what that was. But that whole reset button thing actually reminded me of an episode of Red Dwarf, White Hole, where Crichton feels free to say how he really feels about Rimmer, because he knows he'll forget.
And as these events never happened, we'll have no memory of them. In which case, Mr. Rimmerser, I should like to take this opportunity of saying that you are the most obnoxious, trumped-up, farty little smeghead it has ever been my misfortune to encounter.
So overall, I quite enjoyed this episode. 4 out of the 5 of this half season I've really liked. Roll on the last 3.